Good morning, family church. I think people are tired. Can we stand up and just stretch? And I know some of you are old and wise, but maybe we can just stretch our bones. All right, let's call the Spirit of God to come. Okay, are you ready now? All right, let's get started. Hopefully, this clicker works. Is it? Is it? Oh, great. All right. So, yeah, if you're new, my name is Pastor Diane Hack. My husband and I, we recently became pastors of the Atlanta Family Church around March. Although it feels like it's been almost 3 years, but it's only been a few months. But welcome to our family church. And for those of you who are joining us on Zoom. So, as always, we always start with a recap. So we're gonna start for a recap for last Sunday, which was July 23rd. We talked about faith in the middle. My husband gave a sermon about the fact that when we have faith in the beginning and the end is somehow easy, right? It's like an example when you're going to college, you're so excited, you want to leave your parents' house and you want to have fun. You're looking for colleges and you're excited. And towards the end also, you are excited because you're ending school, right? You're excited to graduate, you're excited to get a new job, until you get a new job and then you get tired. But the faith in the middle is where we lose the battle, right? Because you're fighting so hard, because there's so many things going on. You have trials and tribulations that are happening. So faith in the middle is where people lose the battle. But then we said that God doesn't bring you this far to leave you. That's why we have to understand when we're in the middle. And the whole conclusion of the story is that when we do our best, God will take care of the rest. So, Aju, amen. So for today, we're going to be talking about a key to finishing strong. And if you're new here, so every single month we have a theme. And for this month of July, our theme was faith. And so hence why you see series of faith and wisdom. And so this Sunday, since it's the last Sunday of July, we're going to be finishing strong, right, when we talk about faith. And so I wanted to tell you a story first and show you this video of a guy. Actually, his name is Derek Redmond. Yes, Derek Redmond. And if you don't know him, he's a runner. And now he's known as an Olympic hero. But there was a story and there was a reason why he's called now the Olympic hero. Now he's known everywhere. If you Google him, he's like a motivational speaker and everything like that. But this video that I'm going to show you was in Barcelona Olympic in 1992. And I think with this video, it really tells us that the key to finishing strong is perseverance, right? And perseverance is under faith, right? We talked about that before. And so I'm going to show you the video and then we'll move on to the next step. Oh, and the clicker stopped working. Where do I point? This? Here? Wow. Here. Okay, just click next and then play the video. What do you think about that video? Painful, right? Hardworking. Yeah. If you've ever played sport, you probably felt. Well, I played basketball and I strained my knee. So, yeah, it's very painful. But in this case, if we go back to actually, could you reload the slides actually, because I made some changes. So with this video, we can see that the way that he was running, even though it was painful, but he continued. And I think that when we talk about finishing strong and we talk about, victory and winning, it's actually not even those who passed him and won. I don't think, okay, yeah, they won the medal, Olympic medal and whatever, they became champions, but he was the true champion. Because actually, if you watch the actual Olympics, the people who clapped for him, the clappings were more for him than those who finished the race, right? So we can see that perseverance is actually the key to finishing strong and to being successful. Aju? And so if we look at the word, I always like to have a definition of the word perseverance. Can somebody read it? Maybe Susie, could you read this? True. Thank you. So, yes, I love how it says that the ability to finish what you committed to, regardless of obstacles that stand on the way. So the obstacles that stood on the way of this guy who was running were somehow the medics, right? Because the medics on the Olympics are supposed to protect the athlete. If they're hurt, they wanted to protect them because then the injury can get worse the more you're walking and running. So those were some of the obstacles maybe that might have come on the way. But regardless of that, regardless of the suffering and the pain that he had, he still continued and finished the race. Right? So actually he did finish the race. Like he stepped on, the finish line and he did finish it even though he was injured. And so this is the same with our life of faith. Our life of faith, sometimes we're excited, sometimes we're so joyful, sometimes we want to spread the gospel, we want to talk about God to our friends. We're excited, right? We have this time where our faith is so high, but then at times we're so down. At times we're going through trials and tribulations and we have suffering in our hearts, we have things going on, and sometimes we feel like, oh, my relationship with my spouse is not the greatest, my relationship with my parents is not the greatest, my relationship with my child is not the greatest, or even relationship between each other in our community is not the greatest, right? We have those kind of trials and tribulations that we go through in our life of faith. Isn't that right? The same as the guy who was running, those painful moments, we have that. We experience that in our life of faith, right? But the key for us to succeed is perseverance. And I'm going to share 3 points later of what we can practice when we're going through suffering in order to persevere at the end and be successful. And so this is from Romans 5:3-5. It says, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts, through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. In this verse right here, I really love how it says that suffering produces perseverance. Right? And perseverance produces character, and character, hope. And I think a lot of times, of course, as humans, when we're going through suffering and we're going through trials and tribulations, it's very hard for us to think about that, right? To think about the suffering that I'm going through is actually going to help me persevere. It's going to help me become a better person, right? It's going to build my character and bring eventually hope and that I will be successful at the end. We don't think about that, right? Because we're filled with a lot of emotions and a lot of things in our hearts. But this verse, I really love that. And so based on this, I want to share 3 things with you. And for today's sermon, I'm going to keep it a little bit short just because we have some other things to share at the end. But the first thing that I want to share is finding glory in suffering. That is the first step when we're going through trials and tribulations. Finding the glory and knowing that in this suffering that I'm going through, there is a light. There is something in it. Because the thing is that we always say that God cannot give you something you cannot handle, right? So if God is letting you go through certain things in your life, whether it is financial, whether it is with your family, your spouse, your parents, your child, know that God knows why you're going through it. Aju? And so the first step is finding that glory. And Mark 9:1-13, it's a long chapter, but I got this from it. It says, glory is on the other side of suffering, right? So even though we're going through this suffering and you feel that I cannot overcome this, and there's so many things that I'm going through, but know, again, that God does not give you something you cannot handle. If he did, it wouldn't be a true parent, right? Our parents, even our own physical parents, I'm sure that they wouldn't give us something that we can't handle. If we're going through something and they give it to us, it is because they know that we can go through it and we can handle it and be successful at the end, right? And the second point, actually before that, I want to share this quote. Is that second point? Oh, actually, the second point is knowing that there are seasons, right? And the reason why I bring this point is because let's think about a farmer, right? So when you're sowing seeds as a farmer and you don't see the results right away, right? No matter how, even if you, that's the thing, even if you persevere, there are times that you don't see the results. That is the key. We must know that even though you persevere, there will be seasons where you work so hard for something and you can't see the results. And that is with anything you do, even financially. You work so hard and you don't see the money. Mostly because America charges you large. But, you don't see the results right away because there are seasons. A farmer knows that in spring, you see flower, they blossom, right? But in winter, it's so cold and the harvest might not come. But we must know that the same in our life of faith, there are seasons. There are seasons in our life of faith where we are suffering, where we are going through certain things. And although we persevere, although we're trying so hard to become better, to connect to God, we may fail to do so. But does that mean that we should give up? Never. Right? So while we're going through suffering and trials and tribulations, we must know that perseverance is there, but there are also seasons. Right? There are seasons where we will get better. There are seasons where our relationship would get better. There are seasons where our community will get better. Right? And that is the harvest season. Isn't that right, Myoga? Yes. So these seasons are actually what help us grow and change our character for the better. And I think the most successful people in this world actually they never go through the seasons exactly how it is. Sometimes they have to repeat the seasons over and over again. They go through fall, they go through spring, summer, winter, nothing happens. They go through the same thing again and again and again until they're successful. In our life of faith, we will have battle. We know that, right? As people of faith, we know that faith is not easy. Connecting to God is not easy. Understanding who God is not easy. Loving people, even our own neighbors, is not easy. Right? I can testify to that, and it's not easy. But we must go through the seasons over and over again, understanding that it will get better. And that my life of faith will get better, that my relationships will get better. Right, Sunmi? So in Romans 12:12, it says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be consistent in prayer. I'm going to say that again. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be consistent in prayer. Is it? Okay, if we can go to the next slide. So in Romans 12:12, this is so important because it's talking about being patient in moments where we feel that we persevered so much and there was no result, right? But the farmer knows that, okay, even though there are no results, I know that the harvest time will come. I know that there will be times where the flower will bloom and I will see the results of the seeds that I sow. So we must be able to be patient. And while we're being patient in those seasons, the key is to continue to pray. Know that in those seasons that you're going through, even if you don't see any kind of changes, any kind of results, continue to pray. Again, the most successful people, even those who have a clear life of faith, it's because they went through seasons and seasons and seasons and never gave up. It is the same thing as being financially stable, right? You don't just go through one season and then you have money. My husband and I have a business, and when we started, it was so much money we spent and fell and continue to fail. But the more you persevere, the more you go through the seasons and pray and bring God in every single thing that you do, then you will be successful, right? So brothers and sisters, please let us continue to persevere and be patient in tribulations. Because at times when we are impatient, while we're going through suffering and tribulations, actually the result might not be what God was planning. Because we're trying to rush things. You know what I mean? Rushing it. Again, it's like the example of a farmer. You know that the right season is not there for your seeds to bloom, but you're trying to maybe put chemicals, right, on the garden so that it can grow faster. But is that authentic? It's not authentic, right? So the next quote that I want to share with you, Galatians 6:9, it says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." If we do not give up, right? And I truly love this because it says, please do not be weary in doing good or become weary in doing good. Because I think with our life of faith, sometimes we get so tired, right? We get tired of doing good. We get tired of loving people. We get tired of, being in our community or tired of certain things. But when we give up, then we will not see the harvested season, right? If the guy that was running, Derek, if he stopped and gave up, today he wouldn't be as successful as he is, right? And today he's actually helping people who are going through the same thing get stronger and become better. And so that's also the thing about trials and tribulations. It's not just for ourselves. We go through it because God knows when the harvest comes, you will collect it, you will be successful, but your success is not just for you, right? You help people around you who are going through the same thing, who might need help from you. And so let us not get tired of persevering. Persevering is the key to success in any part of your life. Faith, financial, relationship, anything, even community. As long as we persevere together and have prayer in that middle, then all will be well. Aju? The third point that I want to share with you is focusing on God and not the situation. From Exodus 14:13-14, it says, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." So a lot of times when we're going through situations, suffering, trials, we focus on the situation. There's a song that says, it's a Christian song, it says, "If your eyes are on the storm, you'll wonder if I love you still. But if your eyes are on the cross, if your eyes are on how much I love you, on the goodness that I have brought into your life, you will know that I always loved you, I still love you, and I will always will." This is showing us that when we're going through things in our lives, sufferings and trials and tribulations, we must focus on God and not on the situation. When you focus on the situation, you lose sight of who God is. You lose sight on the power of God. You lose sight on the power of how much powerful God is and how many people He has helped in the Bible. You lose sight of all of that. And you focus only on your situation, on your suffering, on your trials and tribulations and everything that you're going through, but yet not knowing that God is there. Are we understanding that? Like in the video, Derek, he stopped running, or he had pain. The person that came to help him was his father. That was his father. And if you look at the actual video, the medics kept coming, and security kept coming to kind of like take him away. But the father was like, "No, I'm his father, and I'm going to walk this walk with him. If he wants to walk, I will walk with him. I will run with him." That is the same as God. When you're going through suffering, when you're going through pain, and you have these trials and tribulations, God is there. God is there with you. He is walking with you. Even though sometimes we can't see him, even though sometimes we can't feel him, but he's there. He's saying that, child, I gave you this because I know you can handle it, but it doesn't mean you're alone. I am with you. If you continue to persevere and you do not give up, I will be there with you. I will walk this path with you. But yet, if you're so focused on the situation, you don't even see that God is there. I'm sure we all understand that, right? But I don't want us to just understand it. I want us to feel it. There is a difference between understanding and feeling. You can understand God, but if you don't feel him, then you don't know how powerful God is. Amen? So, this is for example, a story in the Bible, the Israelites. I think a lot of the Israelites were focused on the situation. Because as Moses was trying to help them, they would ask him so many questions. Moses, like, what's going on? Did you bring us here to die? What's happening? And yet, they didn't understand that God gave Moses to lead you to Canaan. And what happened to the Israelites? Joshua and Caleb led the Israelites to the land of Canaan. Even Moses himself didn't make it. Right? So let us not be like those who were back in the time where the Israelites or the people in the Bible who focused so much on the situation and lost sight of God. Adju? Let us not repeat the same mistake. So, in my own definition, before I move on to the next one, it's not working. Can we go to the next slide? So, again, in my own definition, I feel that perseverance is the key to success. Perseverance is the key to success. And even with your life of faith, again, I'm pretty sure all of us are aware of that. Life of faith, again, is not easy, right? And even myself standing here, even though I'm a pastor now, I know that life of faith is not easy. That there will be things, even in our community, we will do things and, events and things like that, and it will not come the way that we wanted. But we must persevere and continue to persevere and persevere. Amen? And in that perseverance, we must know that God is with us. That even though it is painful, even though your relationship with somebody is so painful that you don't even feel like being near them, even if your relationship with your spouse or your parents or your child is painful, know that God is there. He's walking with you. And all you have to do is realize and focus on who God is and not the situation. Amen? Okay. I think when we think of perseverance, sometimes we think of it as something negative. But actually, perseverance brings a lot of blessings. And I've experienced that even in my own life of faith. Standing here, people don't know my story, but I've gone through a lot in my life of faith. But I continued to persevere, and that's when I found God's glory. If you give up on the way when it comes to your life of faith and you just give up because you think it's easy or because you haven't seen the results, then even God's blessing cannot be seen in your life or experienced. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, if we can go to the next slide, is the Atlanta Family Church fruits of perseverance. Because I feel that all of you here, and some of our members who might not be here today, you have persevered, and that's why you're still here, right? All of us as people of faith, even though we're going through so much, we continue to persevere. And so I want to share with you the fruits of the perseverance, the success that we're seeing in our community through perseverance and hard work of all of our members. The first thing is our Chunchimwan prayer hall. If you don't know the Chunchimwan prayer hall, it's a prayer hall that we have in our church here. And through this is the biggest fruit of perseverance because it's a direct line to who God is. I think the biggest thing, though, the biggest problem in this world is that people don't maintain their center. And that's why we have problems. So this is why I think this is the biggest fruit of Atlanta Family Church. Because as long as we maintain our center, we will never waver or fall. Adam and Eve didn't maintain their center. Right? So as long as we maintain our center, even our relationship with our spouse, with our children, with our parents, although there might be some difficulties, but maintaining that center will bring God's alignment, and that vertical line will stay there. So this is the biggest gift. The second one is that we don't share it as much, but in every single meeting we go to, Atlanta Family Church is mentioned now. And this is a way for us to lead spiritually. In every, and when I say every, even our international and national meetings, now Atlanta Family Church is on the rise. And it is because of the perseverance and the hard work and the fruits. These are the fruits of the hard work of our members. Do you agree with me? Maybe we don't feel it as much, but trust me, Atlanta is on the rise. Aju? Do you not want to see Atlanta rise up? Okay. I'm going to skip that one. And the other fruits, I will say thank you to our DP study teachers. And if you're not able to, or if you're able to come, please come to the DP lectures because they really help you grow as a person. I forgot how much I missed the DP studies. Yesterday we joined with Pastor Pam, and it was really good to just study again with our new guests. So these are also the fruits of the perseverance and the hard work of our member. Thank you to Mama Coco for continuing to teach. Let's give her a hand. And the other fruit is the Parents' Day, where we had 70 people total, 7 guests, and some of our members who haven't been here for a long time, were 3 who came. Thank you to Sumiko-san and Ozama-san who are not here at a workshop in Las Vegas. They really worked together to make this happen. So let's give them a hand even though they're not here. And this fruit, the fruit of our sports festival, where we had our young people come together and play sports. It was amazing. We had a total of 84 people, 7 guests, and also a lot of our members who haven't been around were able to come and just play. You know, I think it doesn't matter where you are in your life of faith. As long as people gather, God is there. And this is why I think intentional events are important. Because even if people are in different levels of faith, it doesn't mean that God is not there. God still rejoices when all his children gather, God is there. So actually, this is also the biggest victory because God was there and we could feel it. Amen. The next thing is our young adults leadership. Of course, it's my husband and I, and then we have Nami Nagai coming from LA. Let's give her a hand. She's going to be our administrator and event coordinator. Then we have Miyambi as our band director. And also Ruth Nagawa coming in as our youth pastor. Wow. Amazing. Right now we're working on YCLC and CARP. So we have a few people that we're talking to. Maybe, yes. From LA and other places, we will share the results later. Okay, so coming to our end of the fruits, we prepared some recognition because if you don't know, we have a prayer vigil every single morning at 6 a.m. And these people have been joining every single day without missing one day. And if they missed one day, there must be a reason. But I I know that as an MC, when we were doing, prayer vigil internationally, I was one of the MCs, and it's hard waking up like in the morning, right? And staying up like for an hour and praying, and it's not easy. But I feel that this is the key that is moving our community forward because of the perseverance and the fruits of their perseverance is what's helping us move forward. So we wanted to recognize a few of them. So some of them are not here. Some of them actually come from Alabama and what's the other state? I forgot. But there are some that joined from other states. They're not here, but we'll send them the gifts. So if I say your name, please come up. And for all of our members who are watching and who are not here, don't feel bad. We still love you very much. But we wanted to recognize those who join our prayer vigil every single morning, at least for today. Okay. I'm going to have Nami and Miyoka come up for those gifts. Okay, the first one is, she's an OG. You've seen her around. She's our DP study teacher, Mama Coco Kimbembi. All right, let's give her a hand. Yeah, stay here. When you come, please stay here. Okay, next one is, he's also been in a very, he's been here since basically this church started. He's our Secretary General, Mr. Haruki Kimura. He doesn't like to be recognized, but he does a lot more, so. Let's give him a hand. All right, next person. She actually takes care of a Chunchimwan a lot of times. I'm really grateful for her. It's Kazuko-san. Kazuko-san, come up. All right, let's give her a hand. All right. Some of the people are not here. They're on Zoom. Okay. The next person is Mr. Bruce Gordon. He's on Zoom right now, not in person, but Mr. Gordon, we see you and we'll bring your gift to you. And the next one is the Anderson couple, actually. Oh, what, they're not clap? Okay. They join every single day without missing. Actually, I think they're on Zoom also. So yes, thank you. The next person is actually Mrs. Bessie. Bessie, where is she? She's not here. Oh, Bessie. She doesn't want to be recognized, but we'll recognize her. Let's give her a hand. Let's give her a hand. Thank you. All right. Next person is Mrs. Joyce Mary Anderson. Joining every single day. And every time we finish the call, I love how she always says, "Thank you, pastors." She has such a kind voice. Thank you. All right. Wow, so many people. We also have the Grice couple. They're not here. They're on Zoom, so let's give them a hand. We will send your gift to you. We have Mrs. Wafenda, also, who's not here. Let's give her a hand. She's on Zoom. So many people on Zoom today. We'll send you the gift. We also have our sister Ayako Matsunaga. Let's give her a hand. Asako. It says Ayako, so I wasn't sure. Okay. Asako Matsunaga, she's on Zoom as well. Mrs. Bowman. Bowman, she's not present today. She's with her grandchildren. And also, we wanted to recognize Mrs. Esther Tamale, our Women in Ministry coordinator. Let's give her a hand. Yeah. Okay. Actually, so for Miss Esther, this is Women's Day. You know, since she's our woman in ministry, she has some women ministry book in there, so we'll give you more later. But yes, the next person, I mean, all these people are not here, so this is all for them. Mr. Bornface is not here, so, oh, he's in the kitchen. Okay, Mr. Bornface, let's give him a hand, even though he's in the kitchen. Okay. All right, I think I'm not missing anybody. If I am, I'm really sorry. Yes, I think, yeah. But the other people I want to recognize, actually, they've been joining also every single morning. Sometimes one of them helps us read True Mother, because every single morning we read Mother Moon, Mother of Peace. We read her book and try to understand God's words every single morning, and then we talk about it as a community. And these two young people have been joining and, you know, helping a lot. So I want to recognize Nami, Nagai, and Myoga for joining us every single day. So all right, let's give them a hand one more time. And yes, you guys can, actually, maybe we can take a picture. Leah, you want to come? We'll take a quick picture and then move on to the next one. Yeah. Maybe we can take a picture at the end of sermon, at the end of the service. Yeah, please go back to your seats. Thank you. Let's give them a hand one more time. Okay. All right. Wasn't that exciting? Yeah. So, for those of you who are wondering if you need a gift, please join us every single day at 6 a.m. and you will get your gift. Right, Susie? Yes, you get $25 Starbucks. Okay. That was exciting. Yeah. So perseverance is the key to success. Adru? So just to close, I think as a community, we must persevere and also be sincere in communication, sincere with prayer, and sincere with our love with each other. Only through that can we build a community that is filled with the power of God. Because God is sincere, God is loving, and God is powerful, and He's joyful, right? So I really feel that every single time, yesterday when we were studying the Divine Principle with Minister Pam, I kept thinking about the people at the time of Jesus. You know, I hear this a lot. People always say, oh, you know, if I was in the time of Jesus, I would have followed him. Or like, oh, you know, like he did this, or Peter, or like, you know, people in history, John the Baptist, you know, he could have. Right, Minister Pam? Isn't that what we always say? Like, if I was in the time of Jesus, I would help Jesus, right? Well, I think people in the time of Jesus, even themselves, didn't realize how precious their time was. They didn't realize that. right? So there are times in our life of faith, in certain times where God is showing us the way. He's trying to teach us and lead us to the right direction, but we don't recognize it. And only through perseverance, those people back in time who followed Jesus, it is because they persevered. Even though they didn't understand who Jesus was, oh yeah, he's the Son of God. Even though they didn't understand, they still persevered and worked hard. And today we praise Jesus, we talk about Jesus all the time, right? So let us not miss the season that God is giving to us, or else we will miss the season to sow the seeds, and we will miss the season of harvestness. Adju? So we have to keep our eyes on God and not the situation. All right, I think you're tired for today, so I'll end there. Thank you.